Okay, so within this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build your very own Facebook lead generation ad. Now, I'm going to give you a quick demonstration how this ad works before we get into the detail, and I'll take you step by step in building your very own ad. Now, the first thing you need to understand is that we all use Facebook, or most of us do, and we all have something which is called a news feed. Now, what this news feed is that this is the place where we look at, obviously, the cat videos, our friends, what are they up to, photos, all types of different things, and obviously everything that we post in there also pictures up in the news feed. And within this news feed, we want to place our ad, and we want to place our ad in front of an audience inside this news feed that actually shows interest in what we do as a company and would want to click on this actual banner that we're going to create. And once they click on this banner, they'll obviously be taken to our ad. So let me show you quickly what happens. So if we look at this now, we've got our Facebook news feed over here. Hopefully this picture looks pretty good. Hopefully I'm inside the frame. If I'm a little bit out the frame, sorry about that. It's a little hard to see where the end of this whiteboard ends, but it's going to give you a quick idea. So inside this news feed, you've obviously got, oh, my pen's going dry. You've got photos, you've got statuses, you have got your normal cat videos, do a little video sign, and then obviously you get your ads, which are called sponsors. Now within this ad, there will obviously be a button. Now in this type of ad, you're going to have your photo or your video. Within this video, there's going to be some content at the bottom, and if this ad, this actual ad over here, let me just change my color of my pen. If this ad relates to the audience that is actually looking at it, the aim is for them to click on this button and then be taken to our lead generation form. So how does that work? So if I'm somebody looking at this and I'm selling, or I've got a coffee shop, and I want people to come to my coffee shop, I'm going to give a free offer over here saying, right, get a free cup of coffee, click on this button and you're going to get a code. Now, once somebody clicks on that offer, they will be taken, let me just write that over there, they will be taken out of this news feed and there will be a form. Let's just change the color pen here quickly. So I've got an orange for this form. Now in this form, we're going to have a form section, which is going to be the actual display of our ad once again. And now we're going to have some content at the bottom of that, and we're going to have containers, and inside of these containers will be the sections where people will put in the information, meaning their name, email address, and that's obviously for them to become a lead. But we're also going to give them the actual code for their free coffee, because remember, I've displayed a free coffee ad. So I don't want people to obviously go through this whole process and not get the coffee ad. So I've got to make sure that I actually deliver on my promise. So I need to speak a bit slower. I've been told I speak too quickly sometimes, so I'm going to try and slow it down a bit. So let's have a look at it. Once the prospect actually comes onto this ad and now they've decided, you know, let me read up a bit more about this, and they've decided that, cool, I want this offer, they put in the information over there. Now what happens is they'll hit a submit button, which will sit at the bottom, submit. And their next step would be, which is called the success page. Now you'll hear me speak a lot about success pages, and success pages are things that we measure, and it also delivers on what we have promised the prospect that we'll give to them. So the success page will be the actual code. So let's just say that is your free coffee code over there, and there'll be something extra in this. There will be another extra button. It's a bit hard to write, web. So what will happen is that we've now taken the prospect's information, we have delivered on the promise, given them a code for their free coffee. And now what has happened after, instead of sending them back into the Facebook newsfeed, we can actually take them straight to our website or any other offer that we have. Now, if you look at this whole process, it's very straightforward, very simple, but you can imagine thousands of people, millions of people every day using Facebook that will see your ad, fill out the information, get the free lead magnet, obviously what you've promised, and they become a lead. Now the information that we gather here, you can then obviously put that inside of your or into your mailing system, or you can push the information onto your CRM system where your sales team can actually work with the leads and convert them into clients. But our whole aim with this whole process right now is to actually take the prospect, give them the free cup of coffee, get them into the shop, get them to experience our brand, experience our coffee, and then afterwards to take this information and keep them on like a mailing list, something that we can keep telling them about our specials. You know, next week we've got a buy one get one free type of thing, or here's another coupon for 20% off, or we've got a new range of coffee coming in. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can actually do with this process. Now it's very simple. our whole aim with this video is to build these two, it's actually 2 to 3 steps, because there's the in-between step as well, but I'll have to take you through that step by step inside of the video, and I'm going to show you how to do that as well, so don't worry. Once we've done that, you will get a lead at the end of the day. Now, at the moment, at Rust Digital Marketing, what we're doing is we're running these type of ads for our clients, and some of our clients are actually getting conversions all the way from 2 to 3 Rand. We've had some actually go up to like 5 Rand, or maybe 5 Rand, 10 Rand per lead. It differs from industry, but what happens also is that each one of these leads, if our client spends like 100 Rand a day, what will happen is that they'll get a lead for the value of like 5 to 10 Rand, and that's not bad at all. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how to do this exact same process of building out these lead capturing forms for your Facebook page, and we're going to do step by step, and I promise you it's really a lot more easier than it actually looks, even though my sketch is a little bit dodgy over here with all these weird little lines. It's pretty simple. So let's go and dive straight into that next. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is access the business manager. Now, what is your business manager? The back end of your Facebook. So this is going to be a place where you're going to control all of your ads, your audiences, and your tracking pixels. So there's a whole bunch of things that obviously I'm not going to be covering inside of this short video, but I will create a different video a little bit later on with some more information about this. But the first thing I'm going to do obviously is to access the business manager. So this is what it looks like. I am on the Rust Digital Marketing's Facebook page right now that you can see, and at the top left hand side of here you're going to see a page or pages. Click on that, and now you're going to see all of these settings and tabs that you can actually access. So you've got the create and manage, measure and report, assets and settings, as well as your plan. Now I want you to access the audiences at first, so we want to create an audience first. So let's click on that one. Okay, so the first thing now we want to do is actually import an audience. Now there's a whole bunch of different ways you can also do this. Now I'm not going to show you how to do all the other different ways, from building audiences from your Facebook likes, from the followers. There's so many different things you can actually do, but I have found that the most simplest way to actually create an audience is to use your existing customers. So what we want to do right now is we want to upload a data form from your work, like your computer or something like that, like a spreadsheet, and you want to create a lookalike audience. Now I'm going to explain to you a bit more what that does. The first thing we want to do is we want to tell Facebook, you know, these are our customers. This is what they look like. We want to give them this data, and what Facebook's going to do is Facebook is going to try and create which is called a lookalike audience based on your existing clients. So if my clients like to follow these type of different pages on Facebook, they like to do or have these specific activities, what Facebook will do is Facebook will find people out there or prospects out there that do or have exactly the same type of profiles, or match them as closely as possible, and that is what's called a lookalike audience. Now the first thing we have to obviously do is give Facebook this type of audience. Now it does seem a bit creepy in a way, but Facebook doesn't exactly go out there and market to these people for you. We just want to create a lookalike audience. So it's somebody or bunch of prospects that look similar to our existing clients, if that makes sense. And once again, you leave me a comment in the comment section below if you don't understand anything. Now let's go and upload our first audience. So I'm going to click on the top over here where you see create a custom audience. Now as you can see, we can use web traffic, app activities, offline, we can use events, Facebook. There's so many different things we can actually use on here, but what we're going to use for today is the customer list. I have found that the customer list actually works the best because these are people that have bought from us as a company before, so the target audience is rather accurate. So the first thing now I'm going to do is use a file that doesn't include LTV. LTV stands for lifetime customer or lifetime value. So we're going to select this one over here. Next, you're going to see a create a customer list, custom audience. First step, prepare a file with your customer data. Now you can actually go ahead and download a template if you need to, but if you've got a normal spreadsheet that has, say, email address, phone number, mobile or first name, surname, postal code, then you can use that. I've actually just created a very straightforward folder with just a name, email address, zip code, city, and telephone number. I'm going to upload that to the data form over here. So let me just go find that quickly. There we go. Drop it in over here. So this list is all of my existing clients, all of the data that I've got from them, from the name, their email addresses, where they stay, to phone numbers and things like that, all information that obviously I've got from my clients. Facebook is now going to look at this audience and say, you know what, this is a list of clients or prospects. Let's find some more people that look similar to them. The next thing I want to do is I would like to name this list. So I'm just going to call it email list free coffee code. And then I'm going to select the top over here from customers and partners. Just you can select the top one, and I'm going to say next. Now remember, we're not going to market to these exact people, although you can do that. We don't want to do that. All we want to do is tell Facebook, once again, this is what our client looks like. Please find us some more people out there that could be interested in what we sell out there that looks similar to them. So I'm going to look through the data. So this is obviously just your data mapping. You can say email address, email address over there again. That's fine. Email, phone number. And you can obviously just go through this data. If you see anything that says orange or red on the side, so it means that the green has been replaced. All that means is you might just have to correct that there could be a match that isn't lining up. So all you got to do is go to the drop down over here and just select whatever needs to match. So once you've done that, we're going to say upload. Give it some time, and you can see I've uploaded 9 people. Now the bigger this data form is, the more prospects or clients that you actually give Facebook, that you work with, the more accurate the data will be that you get in the lookalike audience. So the next thing we want to do, once this data has been uploaded of our existing clients, as you can see it over here, we want to click on it. So I'm going to click on the actual link. My next step now is I want to create a lookalike audience. So in the top right hand side corner in actions, I'm going to say create a lookalike. This is where the actual magic starts to happen. What we're going to do now is I'm going to select now an audience location, and I'm just going to say I'm going to market this to South Africa. And you can obviously narrow it down all the way down to KZN, Gauteng, Western Cape, wherever you are, or wherever your shop location is, but I'm going to keep it rather wide. Then I'm going to say select audience size. Now what this means is if I bring this all the way out to the back of here, it's going to say 2.6 million people. And if I bring it all the way in, you can actually see the number start to drop, 1,769,000, all the way down to 1%. Now this means this is how accurate Facebook is going to try and match this data of your existing clients. So if I go all the way out to number 10, what that means is it's going to take the profile of my existing client and try and match it with as many people that only fit a specific criteria inside of my profile of my clients. But if I narrow this down all the way down to 1%, I'm going to try and get prospects that match as close as possible to my existing clients. So this usually is the best option. If you're doing a bit of market testing and you're running an ad out there, you just want to say, put the ad out there, do a bit of testing, and then narrow it down over a period of time, you can do that as well. But for this exercise, I'm just going to tell Facebook, give me people that match my profile of my existing clients as close as possible. So I'm going to go for the 1% match. So at the bottom over here, you're going to say, or the bottom over here, it's going to say new lookalike audience. This is what it's going to be called. And estimate reach. That means that there is a possibility for 257,000 people in South Africa, obviously the location at the top, that Facebook has now identified that could be my perfect clients. So instead of me going out there and doing a whole bunch of market research, getting some form of data all on my own, Facebook can actually do this for you. And you've just seen how easy that was with me just uploading some form of data that I've already got from my existing clients. Now, once this is all done, let's create the audience. Beautiful. Okay, so what we've just done now is we've created the audience. It is busy populating, so population, okay, audience. You can obviously just read through some of these small things over here. It's just giving you some information about that. But as you can see at the bottom of here, we've got 2 audiences in here. We've got our email list, and then we've got our lookalike. So these 2 are sort of connected to each other. That means that this list at the top here has been drawn from data that is in the list at the bottom. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to look into creating our first ad. So let's go and jump straight into that next. So the next thing we want to do is create our first Facebook lead generation ad. So what are we going to do next? We're going to go to the top left hand side, and we're going to click on this tab again, and we're going to look for our ad manager. So it should be underneath your create and manage. Please note that some of these tabs do change from time to time. So Facebook does every couple of months change these tabs around. They either add or remove certain things or put them in different places. So if you're watching this video and something has changed, please bear in mind that it is here, it's just somewhere else on the page. But for today, that this ad manager is actually here underneath the create and manage. So let's go on to the ad manager. Cool. So as you can see right now, you're in your ad manager. What this means is that all of your ads are going to be running from your Facebook campaigns to, there's like 13 different ads you can actually run on here, are all going to be listed at the bottom over here. So on the left hand side, you're going to see you are in the account overview, you're in the campaigns, ad set, and ads. So what that means is inside of a campaign, you've got a different set of ads. Inside of these ads, you've got then separate ads. So if you've got an ad that is running one specific special or deal that you want to offer prospects or clients out there, you can actually create different ads inside of that ad set with different images and A/B test them against each other. Now I'm going to explain that to you a bit more later on in a different video and a different blog that I'll also create. But for today's task, all that you need to understand is that there's going to be one ad set and there's going to be one ad. So we're going to keep it straightforward, really simple, get you going with your first ad, and later on we'll expand on those ads and I'll show you a bit more about A/B testing, how to run the ads against each other and test for the best result. And that also obviously leads to a lot cheaper results in paying for marketing. So if you've got an ad that runs with an image that is blue against one that is red, the red one will obviously win because Facebook is obviously more, their colors are more blue orientated. So what that means is your red ad will stick out a bit more. But instead of us just going on a thumb suck and deciding that for ourselves, what we need to do is test them against each other. So for today, let's go ahead and create our first ad. Now you've got a couple of options to actually do this from. You can either click in the middle or you can click at the top left hand side on the green button here as well. So there's two different places you can actually click from. So let's just click on that one over there. Cool. So let's call our ad, let's call our campaign something. This is going to be the free coffee campaign. Next thing we want to do is action. We're going to leave it on that. And campaign objective is going to be lead generation. Now, as I expand this, you can actually see that there is different campaigns that you can run from traffic, post engagement, page likes, events, messaging. There's a whole bunch of different things. But just for this video, we're going to focus on one of these objectives or goals for today. So that is going to be the lead generation, because we obviously want to get in a lead. We're not going to do split testing. Campaign budget optimization, don't put that on right now. The next thing we're going to do is create new ad set. So let's create a new ad set. So this is going to, I'm just going to call this the free coffee campaign ad set. Cool. And then I'm going to select the page. So I'm obviously going to run it with my business, Rust Digital Marketing, and that's the right company. So if you've got a whole bunch of different companies, obviously you can list them down there, or business pages. But mostly, if you've got a business on here, you might only have one company that you're obviously running ads for, which is your own company. So you might only see your own business pitch up there, which is perfectly fine. The next thing we're going to do is create a new ad. So we're going to call this the ad number 1. Keep it simple. Remember, you can always come back later on and change these names. It's just for your own purpose of actually keeping things organized inside of the back of your dashboard. So let's just say save to draft. That is one strange thing, that Facebook is now actually giving you this red little icon over here which says something has got an error in it, but it really doesn't have an error. It just means that there's no data in it yet. So all you got to do is follow the steps to actually get that red little triangle away. Okay, so back to the campaign. We can now see that we've got the free coffee campaign on the left hand side. We've got our ad set, and then we've got our first ad. If we look at the top over here, on the right hand side, we're going to be able to edit this information once again. Now we are quite happy with the information on the right hand side, so we're going to go straight into the ad set. You can actually hit the, don't show me this again, published over there. Okay, so on the left hand side, you can actually, these arrows are busy uploading some data. And on the right hand side, you will be able to see once this thing loads. Okay, you can just get rid of this stupid little thing down there. You can actually now see that we are busy determining what the budget's going to be, when it's going to be launched, and how it's actually going to be working. We are not creating the actual ad yet. We're just setting up the settings that control the ads. Remember I said earlier that you're going to have a whole bunch of different ads. Now all those ads get controlled with one master setting which you're going to put in here. And you can always come back at a later time or later stage and actually change some of this information if needed. So let's get started. On the right hand side over here you'll see audience definition. So at the moment potential reach is 16 million people. Now the reason why this is so broad or so wide is because we haven't uploaded our audience yet. So we're going to narrow that down a little bit later on. If we go further down, we see page, dynamic creation, that's fine. And we see ad budget. Now I've got a whole blog about how to budget and how to actually get the right budget, what percentage you need in the Rust Digital Marketing. So if you need more information about budgeting and how to actually get that right, you can actually go read one of my other blogs. But for today's purposes, I'm going to just leave this on, let's just put this on 100 Rand. Remember, I'm not going to run this ad because I don't own a coffee shop. So I'm just explaining to you how this works so you can actually there afterwards come and do the same thing for your own business. So we've got an ad schedule. Okay, so we've put $100 in there. Auction spend per day, so that is the amount of money it will spend every day. Estimate daily leads. Now you can obviously see that the estimate daily leads over here, I'm sitting at $100. So Facebook tells me if I'm spending 100 Rand, I should get in about 10 leads per day. If my budget goes up, you can see that the leads actually grow. Now, a word of advice, do not go and say spend 1,000 Rand a day or 2,000 Rand a day. Keep that budget small. All we want to do is gain some data at first, match our audience up with our offer, and then afterwards we can come back and up the budget. Okay, so if we know that we are getting 10 leads per day for $100, that means that we're paying 10 Rand per lead, and next week we're getting like 9 Rand, then I will start upping the budget. And then I'll also show you how to actually build a bit of like a couple of A/B test campaigns to actually help your campaign improve over time. So at Rust Digital Marketing, that's obviously what we do. We are constantly working on ads. We are changing content. We are constantly improving ads for our clients to be able to get them the most leads for their budgets. And you can obviously come onto our website and request a free digital marketing strategy from myself or our team. But this is what we do day in and day out. So our team is rather good at what they do here at the company. Okay, enough of that. Back to building our ad. Okay, so on the right hand side over here, estimate daily results. We should reach between 671 to 4.2 thousand people with our ad spend. Leads anywhere from 4 to 25. So that is the estimate. Remember, like I said right now, is run your ad at $100 and first get an average amount of leads that you're getting for your marketing spend before we actually go and up the budget. So if you up the budget a little bit later on, you'll actually see this number climb. Don't worry too much about that right now. So audiences. Now remember, we created an audience. So instead of us going ahead and just thumb sucking our own type of audience and just putting in interests over here of what our client could look like, we have already done research. So what are we going to do right now is we are going to look for our audience. Now we don't want to market to the existing clients which we've already sold to. We want to market to new prospects, the 1% that look like our existing clients. So we're going to select that audience over there. Just click outside of that box. So we've selected our audience. You can actually keep all of this information as wide as possible over here. It doesn't really matter anymore due to us having a custom audience. So Facebook will automatically discover an audience between the age of 30 to 35, maybe if our audience matches up with that. So don't stress about this over here. Language, same thing. That audience at the top over here has already been segmented into different languages. So that should be fine. Detailed targeting, don't stress about that right now because we've got the audience at the top. So you actually save yourself a whole lot of time by actually uploading a list of your existing clients and then matching them to a lookalike. Because if you didn't do that, you'd actually have to go through all of these settings and then try and discover who is your perfect client, what age group, where they live, what their languages are, what interests are they into and things like that, which is quite a bit of a headache. So moving further down, we've got placement next. Now I highly recommend, as you can see over here as well, that you allow Facebook to place your ad where it's needed. Now what I mean by that is that you don't want to go ahead and say I don't want to be here or I don't want to be there unless you've got a specific reason for you not wanting to be there. Now what I mean by being there is that your ad needs to be in the news feed or the sidebar. There's a whole bunch of different places on Facebook from where your ad will sit on the actual page. Now, if you automatically let Facebook decide where that needs to be, Facebook will actually place the ad in a whole bunch of different places and learn over a period of time where your ad is performing the best. Now, if you're going to automatic or place your ads manually yourself, then you are not really going to get all that data. And in the beginning, we want to decide, what placement or where does our ad perform the best. So letting Facebook take this information from us and improving it over time is always the best setting for us. So leave that on automatic placement, optimization and delivery. Now, inside of the optimization and delivery, what happens over here is that you can decide, I don't want to pay more than 10 Rand per average cost per lead. I can actually set the budget at that. But in the beginning, leave it open. Let Facebook go wild with your 100 Rand budget for a couple of days. Over a period of time, Facebook is going to try and convert for the cheapest costs possible. And if you allow Facebook an open range with budget, they're going to go out and try and find you these cheap leads. Now, if you're going to go in here and say, I only want to pay 10 Rand per lead, Facebook is really going to put you at the bottom of the list, and they are really going to struggle to actually find an audience for you. So you might find that your first couple of conversions might be more than 10 Rand, but over a period of a couple of days, you'll actually see that this sometimes does drop. And the reason for that is Facebook has got full open range on your budget for that 100 Rand, and they're going to try and find you these leads at the best possible cost. So I'll recommend leaving that open for now. So okay, so we've actually reached the end of the bottom of here of this ad set. Our next step is going to be the actual ad. So let's go and do that ad next. Click on the ad on the left hand side of here. Okay, let's do this next section. Now, as you can see, there's a whole bunch of errors at the bottom over here. We've got this warning sign at the bottom. In the middle of the page, we've got the top right hand side that there's an error over there. You should not have any errors on this page. So the only way to get these errors off of your page is to correct the errors, obviously. So let's start at the top over here. Our ad set has a name. Now, you can change the name at the top over here if you want to. I've just called mine ad set 1, which is fine. The bottom, I have selected a Facebook page, Ross Digital Marketing. I don't have an Instagram page, actually, or we actually do have an Instagram page, but I'm not going to select it right now. But if you do have an Instagram page, I will recommend selecting it so that your ad runs on Facebook as well as Instagram. You might find that you do get a lot of cheap leads from Instagram itself. Might not be the best quality of leads, but then again, I mean, if you're paying something like 1 or 2 Rand per lead over there versus 10 Rand, every 10th lead might be worth it. So if you've got the Instagram page selected, let's go a little bit further down. Actually, just going to get rid of, can I get rid of this thing? Let's not push any buttons there now. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is, as you can see on the right hand side, we can actually see what the ad looks like. So remember we spoke about placement earlier. Where does Facebook place our ad? There are 10 different places that Facebook places this ad, from desktop newsfeed, instant articles, and the list obviously goes on all the way to like Facebook, mobile. You'll see, I think, desktop marketplace. So I don't exactly always know what desktop marketplace is. There's a whole bunch of different places this ad will sit. So let's just go all the way back to the beginning and have a look at our ad. First thing we want to do is upload an image. So I've already created all the artwork for this campaign of mine. I'm now going to upload this artwork. So let's just say change this image. Change image. Upload image. And that is my first image. Okay, your image needs to be 1200 by 630 pixels. So make sure that when you create your artwork, that your Facebook image fits this size. If you're using Instagram, it is a 1080 by 1080 pixel image. So remember that if you're using Facebook and Instagram, you're going to have to upload 2 different images for both of those. But we're just going to be running on Facebook for now. So my image is 1200 by 630 in pixels. I'm going to say continue. As you can see on the right hand side, my ad is starting to develop. Now if I go further down, I need to add my text. So this text is going to sit at the top over here. Now I've already created all of this content, and if you follow the blog that I've created for this ad, you'll actually be able to see what content I've developed. You'll see it in the ad itself, or the blog post itself. So you need to obviously be creative with your own content and decide what your offer is, what your lead magnet is, and then obviously write your content. Now, not a lot of content is needed, so please do not go and write a full story of exactly what this product does. The shorter, the better. So you can obviously see the ad that I've created as well, the free coffee. It's short, it's powerful, it sticks out in a news feed of somebody that is obviously scrolling down on Facebook. If you've got too much text in there, it's just going to look horrible, and you are not going to get the results that you're looking for. And Facebook can also ban your ad from running if you've got too much content in there. So for right now, let's just go and paste in the content that I've created. So what have I done over here? Top, okay, who does not love free coffee? At the coffee shop, remember this is not a real company, so at the coffee shop company, we are giving away free coffee to all. Now remember, I'm not going into too much detail saying the coffee is just for your first visit. I'm going to expand on this content a little bit further as we go further on, and I can also put that obviously in my terms conditions when somebody gives me the information that this is only for your first cup of coffee, and obviously your email address information. So the next bit of copy that I need is going to be the display link. It's optional. I would actually not put that in right now. So if you don't have a website or anything like that, don't put that in. So leave that open. I'm not going to put that in because I don't have a website for the free coffee shop. The next thing I want to do is headline. So that's going to be the headline at the top of here. I have created something called the free coffee code. Okay, remember, short and powerful. Make that stick out. Remember that this is going to open up on phones or laptops or computers. So if you put too much content, once again, the content will be squashed up together, and it might be, your prospects might not be able to actually read that. So keep it short, keep it powerful. The next is going to be the description at the bottom. So what I want to do now is tell people what to actually do. So to be able to get this free coffee link, you're going to have to do something. Okay, so you're going to have to download your free coffee code and visit our shop for your first free cup of coffee. Now, once again, I am going to expand a bit more on this content. And as you can see on the right-hand side over here, this is a mobile newsfeed view. So it is already cutting off some of my content. But if we do go to, say, a desktop, you'll see more of the content becoming visible. So hopefully you get the idea of keep your content short and powerful. Now, once this is done, we want to now actually change this button. So what am I telling people to do? I want to give you a free coffee or a code for free coffee at our shop. I want you to download this code. So I'm going to select this action, call to action, as a download button. You can see it changing on the right hand side over here. Once that ad's done, I'm going to review it, just make sure everything's correct. I'll go through all of these different versions of the ad, just making sure everything's correct. So let's see what this is. Instant article, okay, that's fine. You can see the button has changed. So you get the idea. Run through the ad, check your ads, make sure you're happy with everything. And the next thing we are going to do is create the actual lead form. So let's do that next. So click on the lead or create lead form over here. You'll see this blue button. What are we going to do now? We're going to create a new form. We're not going to use an existing form. So if you have created a form before, you will see your forms pop up over here, and you can actually select an existing form, saving you some time in having to create a new form. So let's just say this is going to be our first form. So let's create a brand new one. So how this form works. On the right hand side of here, you can actually see what the form looks like. Now, the nice thing about this is that people don't leave Facebook to be able to give you their information, or for them to obviously get the offer that you are giving, which is the free lead magnet. Because people stay in Facebook and don't leave to a website, you don't need a website to actually run these ads. And because people stay in Facebook, the clicks are actually cheaper, because Facebook rewards businesses that don't allow people to actually leave the platform, because it obviously benefits them. They don't want people to create ads, or companies to create ads on Facebook where people actually leave the platform, which is Facebook, and go to a different website. They want to make sure that people stay on the Facebook platform at all times. And that is why this little ad is so powerful for us to gain leads And by doing this, you'll actually see that I've actually found that this gives us the cheapest form of lead conversion out there. From sending people to landing pages are really good, but this gives us anywhere from 3 Rand to 5 Rand a lead sometimes for our businesses. So it definitely does work. On the left hand side of here, we're going to see things like the content and settings. We're going to have a form type, intro, question, privacy policy, and thank you page. I have created all the content for these pages already. I'm going to take you step by step through these pages. It's not a lot to do, but yeah, just follow these steps and you should be okay in doing this for yourself. So the first thing we want to do is the form type. Now the top form is where you just give people a form where they fill out the information and then go to the next step. But I like to use the next one, higher intent. What that means is if I click on this button over here, you'll see a different tab appear. Review screen. So what this means is if somebody gives you their information on the right hand side, email and name, they can actually review their information before submitting it. Now you might find that you get a say 10% lower conversion rates on this option, but your quality of lead will be a lot higher than going with the top option, where if somebody misspells their email address, it will still submit. Obviously they'll get the coffee code, they'll walk in your shop, but they've given you information on which you cannot use for your own marketing because the information is not correct. So if you're going to send them an email, it's obviously going to bounce back all the time and getting hold of them will be a problem. So by selecting this option, your prospect can actually review their data before moving on. So I highly recommend using that, but you can also obviously test the top one out later on for yourself. Next step, we are going to say intro. So this is going to be the headings over here. So let me just get my worksheet out. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to change the heading over here, which is this content over there. Let's grab my content and paste it in. Oh, what is that? Okay, there we go. Unlock your free coffee code. As you can see on the right hand side, there we go. The next thing I want to do is I want to change this image. I don't want people to see the same image. Very important with images that if you do change these images, make sure that it is relevant to why the prospect was here in the first place. So if you're offering free coffee, make sure that the next content that they see also relates to free coffee. Because if you say free coffee and then suddenly get some other random photo of you or something else, the prospect will feel that they've been misled and will actually exit the ad that you've created. And remember, you will get billed for that, whether it is 50 cent, 10 cent or 5 Rand, you will get billed for each time that happens. So keep it relevant at all times. So what I'm going to do next is upload an image. And I created a free coffee. I've kept my ad relevant. All I've done is actually just taken out the photo. Okay, so now I've got that over there. The next thing I want to do is just put some content at the bottom of here. Now keep in mind this is demo content, so the grammar might not be 100%. It doesn't matter. It just sort of gives you an idea of how this ad works. So add your information to the short coffee code form below, and we will send you the free coffee code right now. So I'm giving the prospect a direction or an intent to do something. So that is highly important. So make sure that you don't just say free coffee code, email address, name. Tell the prospect what to do. People need to be told what to do sometimes on here so they understand what it means for them to take the next step. Okay, so we've got the intro out of the way. The next thing we're going to do is go into the questions. Now the questions is where you can actually populate from email address to first name, last name. You can add in more segments. Now, an important note for yourself is to make sure don't ask too much information in the beginning. Remember, the value of what we're giving away is just a cup of coffee. For that 25 Rand or 30 Rand cup of coffee, all we want to do is basically just have permission to communicate with this prospect and gather information over a period of time with them. So we don't want to know what their ID numbers are. We don't want to know, where exactly do you live, what interests you, how many cups of coffee do you drink a day, all that nonsense. All we want to do is to give you a cup of coffee, get the conversation started, and over a period of time, gather more information. So let's keep it simple right now and just say, I want your email address and I want your full name. You can obviously select other options later on if you want to add more in. So if you want to add in a telephone number and that is what is needed, then you can add that in as well. To download the Rust Digital Marketing Provider below. So we've forgotten the headline over here. Let's just add in this headline. I'm just going to put in form below. Now, you can obviously just put that in as your own headline, just add something else in there, but I'm saying unlock your free coffee code, the information to the coffee code from below. If you see below. Form below. So now keep it at that, just to give you an example. So now I've got the two headlines at the top. The next thing I want to do is my privacy policy. Now, if you've got a website that has a link to your privacy policy, you can obviously link to it. You can then obviously just put in the text over here. So if I say link to, you'll see it appear in the actual link at the bottom. I can then put in the URL to the website where this is, and so forth. Now, if I want to write just a quick short basic privacy policy on this, and I've got one, I can add a disclaimer as well, which will sort of help out. So you can actually add in your own disclaimer at the bottom over here, and you can follow the steps if you've got some form of disclaimer. I always struggle that word, but you get the idea. So you can actually add that in if needed, but I'm just going to keep this rather simple and just leave it out for now. The next step is going to be the review screen. So the review screen is on. So what this means is that the prospect will see the information, everything that they've put in, and they'll need to slide this button or click on something to say that the information that they are supplying, name, email address, is correct before moving on. After that, we've got the thank you page. So once again with the thank you page, this is now after the prospect has given us their information and they are now ready to receive their code for their free coffee. So let's give them this code. Let me just grab my other information. So I've actually got thanks, you're all set, that's perfect. And then what I've done is I've just created a short little write-up. I'm going to pop it in over here. As you can see. Okay, so thanks, you're all set. One of our best baristas has just started brewing your favorite cup of warm and delicious coffee. Come visit us today. Get your free coffee code below. Hurry before it gets cold. So what I've done is I've now delivered on the promise. I've told the prospect that if you fill out this information, this is what I'm going to give you. So I have now given you the actual code, as you can see over there. That is the coffee code. Now that is just some number I just thumb sucked out of the back of my head. But if this prospect comes to our shop and has this code, coffee's on us. So now what has happened is I've actually gained the prospect's email address. I can tell them more about our offers, our free coffees that we have, what we do, and I've offered them obviously a free cup of coffee to come into the shop and try out the product. So this is where this lead magnet really works well. Now, if you've got different businesses out there and you create different like lead magnets, if I'm a plumber, I might offer my free consultation for an email address. Any form of lead magnet works in here. Depending on how well it works, depends on how much value you sometimes give away. So there's a lot of different things that you need to look at for this. But at the end of the day, it works extremely well. And I guarantee you, if you do this right, it will work. At Rust Digital Marketing, we use these things all the time. I mean, we advertise for our own company using these type of ads. Now, before I get too caught up in that again, let's just have a look at this ad and finish it off quickly. Now, our last step before moving on is that we want to get the prospect to do something, because now they're waiting. They've got their coffee code. They want to do something. They're either going to go back to Facebook again. So let's give them the option to either come to our website or download whatever it is that we're giving to them, or call our business. We've got these different options. Now, I'm going to use this to interact with my prospect. I'm going to tell them, I'm going to put a link over here, view website, to our contact us or our map. So you can actually go into Google and Google your shop or your business's address and then actually put that in there. So I'm going to put in over here, view map to shop. There's a limited amount of text you can put in there. You'll have to obviously play with it. Oh, there we go. You can actually see the amount. And then I'm going to put a link into our actual shop on Google so that the prospect can click on this button and have a map to our shop. Now that is it for this ad. Once you're done, you're going to go and say, let's just say finished. just going to put in a URL. Let's just take our business. Okay, wants a privacy policy. Okay, so you're going to actually have to put privacy policy in here if you don't have one. I'm going to say finished, and there we go. So what happens now is that we've got our campaign set, we've got our ad sets below it, and now we've got our first ad. So this ad is ready to be launched out there and to be seen by our prospects. All we have to do now is actually hit the publish button, and that's it. The ad will be running. So hopefully this video that I created for you really helped you out. If you do have any questions, there's a comment section at the bottom, and you can ask me some questions if you do get stuck. But I'll also recommend trying out Rust Digital Marketing and coming to our website and just seeing what we have to offer, because this is obviously what we do every day of our lives over here, and our agents are really good at what they do. And we can also offer you obviously a free digital marketing strategy and consultation by visiting our website. You'll see a button there. Just fill out your information, come visit us, and we will be more than happy to help you out. Keep an eye out for any more videos and things that I do on digital marketing, because it's something that I'm very passionate about, and I'm constantly creating videos and blog posts about this information. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember to hit that publish button once you're done.